Hey Verns. So today we're going to talk about a little bit of an odd thing from Grimes' husband, Elon Musk.
Imagine not having to deal with the snarl of taxis above, just coming down underground, getting in your Tesla and zooming away. Quite frankly, that's a future I could get on board with.
So they built a tunnel underneath the Las Vegas Convention Center, and they're driving cars around in it. And it's basically like there's taxi stands at the top. You get in a car. There's some stations underneath. You go through the tunnel. You go to the station. And there you go. And some cars can pass by if the people in that car don't want to stop at that station. The odd thing about this is that looks like they're planning to expand this.
Are you saying that eventually this loop is going to connect people from the airport to downtown to the stadium and everywhere in between?
It will.
Not only throughout Las Vegas to the airport, to the stadium, etc., but they may be expanding this to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale.
Lay out by the pool.
I didn't want to just come on here and
Make pee-pee
on this guy or this whatever this thing is. I wanted to give this a fair shake and be like, is this useful to society somehow? Is this some kind of a future of transportation like people on this, what is this, CNET are making it out to be? I wanted to really give this a fair shake, and I spent, I would say, wasted precious time of my life reading nonstop ponderous message boards and people defending this thing and on and on. And the original pitch for this thing was that it was going to be little trams going around on tracks that like multiple, like 16 or something people could sit in this thing. It's changed a little bit from that to Tesla cars that a driver will drive. It's like being stuck in a tunnel with an Uber. In an Uber. Which we'll see, there's a funny little punchline to that at the end.
You might think, all right, it's like a subway, but this is more like a highway underground.
Why not just build a subway? There are lots of explanations that really don't make any sense why you would want this instead of a train, because one of the big problems that keeps coming up, they're like, there is one problem with this, and that's capacity. That's capacity. Well, yeah, that does seem like it would be a problem because they're cars going in a tunnel and not trains where you can fit a lot of people. For example, I looked this up because I just thought it would be interesting. Like a New York City subway car can seat about 42 people. That's seat. When they're standing, it's over 100. That's just one car. Most New York City subways have 8 to 10. I don't speak English. 8 to 10 cars. So you could move in one New York City subway over 1,000 people. Over 1,000 people, dog. Over 1,000 people, dude. Over 1,000 people. That kind of solves the capacity problem right there. It being a train. But there's a really funny thing that kept coming up when I was reading through these message boards, especially from people defending this project. And I'll just read you a little excerpt from this. I live in London, and while our public transport is very good by global standards, the experience still sucks. This is the part that keeps coming up over and over. A lot of the time, you can't get a seat, so you have to stand around a bunch of other sweaty passengers. Individual transit means it picks you up where you are, on your schedule, and takes you directly to where you are going, with no stops along the way. Edit, and with no one whom you don't want to smell.
That's really weird.
Subways are a phenomenal way to provide cheap and efficient transportation within densely populated urban cores. Though the New York subway has recently been on a downward spiral, this has less to do with the system itself and more to do with certain people who are using it.
This is not just people on these Reddit boards, which I saw this kind of comment over and over again. It's more comfortable. These disgusting pieces of barf I call other human beings. Ugh! Could you imagine? This is not just people on Reddit saying this over and over again. This pattern that I noticed. I think maybe why it's a pattern is that it came from the great dear leader himself. This is him talking about public transportation, mass transport. It's a pain in the ass, he continued. That's why everyone doesn't like it. And there's a bunch of random strangers There's a bunch of random strangers. What are you, a 17-year-old in early 2000s? Who are all these randos? Who are all he's like chewing his gum. Look at all these randos. A bunch of random strangers, one of whom might be a serial killer.
The city's built a system that's extensive, reliable, and easy to use, and it's become so highly regarded among Tokyo citizens that ridership's actually increased year on year, despite the city's population falling since 2019.
So mass transportation in big cities like New York City and Tokyo and blah, 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 who have kind of figured this out, these kind of trains, they cut way down on the pollution, and they're very efficient for moving large numbers of people around the place. I know this because I was in New York pretty recently and used it, and it works. It works. So I do think that this is a really good trade-off. We keep making tons and tons of cars, inefficiently moving people through tunnels, but I think it is worth it because I don't want to sit next to something. Because I don't want to have to look at the face of another human being, sucking in air like a dying fish. Let's be honest, these people. These other people in the world. I don't know if you've caught a load of these other people in the world. They're like, I'm an old lady. Ugh, yuck, no thank you. Is it weird to be doing this? Yes, but whatever it takes for me to not have to look at a little, I'm a little kid. Ew. Someone on a New York City subway asked me if I had any change, this guy. And I said, no, I only use credit cards. And then he wandered away. I'm still traumatized by that exchange. It's too much. If you're saying to yourself, I'm willing to sacrifice all the good that comes from these trains that work, the pollution crap, the mass transit crap, getting people off of cars. That's just, if the I have to be around people in a subway is just too much for you, is just too much of a sacrifice, you're the one who needs to be on a subway the most. A crowded one. It will do you so much more. Hashtag get Elon around other people, other humans. Not Grimes, and not the number kid. Not the number kid either. So he said that stuff about public transport in, I guess, some press conference-y thing. When the audience member responded that public transportation seemed to work in Japan, Musk shot back, quote, what, where they cram people in the subway? That doesn't sound great. Oh no. This really is the guy. This is the guy who's really gonna fix things.
It's the world's busiest subway, moving 3.9 billion passengers each year, equivalent to half the world's population, but all in an understated and efficient way.
Where they cram people in a subway, that's not great. Could you imagine? This is Elon Musk on a subway. Ew! Don't touch me! Ew! Elon Musk is in Tokyo on the subway. Ew! That Asian guy. Okay, I'm not saying Elon Musk is anti-Asian. So another one of the defenses that I heard coming up over and over again for this loop thing is if they expanded it, one way that it would expand is that hotels like the Bellagio, do they make people talk in a fake accent if they work at Bellagio? You want to play the slots, eh? You want to lose your ass, eh? So this is one of the big dreams, is that the hotels will buy from the Boring Company, Elon Musk company that makes these tunnels. They'll buy some tunnel next to their hotel and then it'll go other places. This already does exist in a way that lots of Las Vegas tourists seem to like, which is a tram. Okay. Oh, I meant to say, by the way, one of the funny things about the whole "get off me, don't touch me" subway thing is when here's the deal: when you get on a subway, if you go into a New York City subway, no one looks at each other. They stay away from each other. They don't look at. Maybe you meet you give somebody a kiss. Who knows? It's New York. It's magical. You're like you just don't do that. Don't. There are people who watch this channel that they don't get the jokes. No one looks at each other. No one talks to each other on the subway. They mind their own business, got their ear pods, pace pods, or whatever those things are called. Pace pods. Those Apple things. They put those in, don't look at anybody, look at their phone, and then get out and go away. Okay? The problem with the current iteration of this thing is the cars all have drivers. Individual drivers for these cars. And they're gambling that someday in the future there'll be driverless cars. I would kill myself, metaphorically, in a video game, if I was stuck in a tunnel with an Uber driver. And I think the Uber driver would want to kill himself too. You know, you're just in this tunnel and you're like, here's my aux cable. Here's my aux cable. Play my music. Oh my God. He's like, he gets out of the car and just walks. You're just watching him through the windshield walk down the tunnel, walk away from you. And they do admit on these boards, the defenders of this project, that it's not supposed to be mass transit. Who knows? Maybe there could be some potential for it in the future to do something. I don't even know what. I mean, the big hope is that they'll be able to make driverless, autonomous trams. Okay. So it seems like, and who knows, I could be wrong. I'm more than willing and happy to be proven wrong if this proves itself to be some kind of a game-changing, environmentally helping thing that efficiently works and cuts down on people driving cars and so on. But right now, it really seems like the two reasons for this are to, and they say this on the boards too, on the boring Reddit boards and the Twitter defenders and all this stuff, that part of it is to promote Tesla cars. And then the other reason is the aforementioned, I don't want some disgusting other human near me. Yuck. So those seem to be the two driving forces. And I wanted to say this. I remember years ago, I heard like they were publishing all these stories about, Elon Musk is going to do this thing where if you invent a hyperloop, you know, if you're in a college, you're a college dork. I'm just kidding. If you're a college kid and you get together with your little group and you create a more efficient train, like a train that runs on magnets or whatever, he'll give you money or something, and they'll try to develop it, and it'll run from wherever to wherever. And I remember thinking, that's really cool. I still think that would be a cool idea to try to leverage smart people to come up to improve upon mass transit. That's very good idea. But this does not seem like that. This does not seem like that, my friends. This seems weird. This is a kind of a complicated thing, but what has been going on, and I was looking into this story about Tesla stock, is that Tesla stock looks very overvalued. A lot of people are saying. And I think what's going on is that people think that there's something's going to happen, driverless cars are going to come, or this or that is going to happen in the future, and they're kind of like gambling now on what might happen in the future, because right now, this ain't working. Who knows? Maybe something interesting will happen in the future with this, but this doesn't even really look like it's headed in that direction. It just looks like holes to promote Tesla cars. So cut the crap, get in a train, stop. Ugh, that child just looked at me. Then why'd you jerk your arm? I don't know. I can feel the look. Don't do that. Get on a train.
Why? Why? Weird.
And get on a train. Calm down. You'll be fine. No one's going to kill you. All right? Good night and bye-bye. Hey everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
exclusive
Patreon-exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited.
A behind-the-scenes show where I reveal all my secrets, and a show where we go deep on an important topic that you will want to know about. Also, you get the daily and complete live show audio-only feeds. And at the top level, for only 25 bones, you can become a producer. These people that you're seeing right here make this program possible. Without them, nothing. It goes right in the toilet, right in the trash, and we set it on fire. It's these people who make it work. So please, for Christ's sake, become a patron. Bye-bye, love you.